Hey everyone, welcome back to part 3 of Durin's Folk, Creating the Dwarves. Let's flow.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Have you
wouldn't
seen
even
this?
have noticed that he had a prosthetic. You know, his face isn't as exaggerated as everyone else's.
Adam Brown. Hayden Turner. Adam Brown.
If you were to
That's
draw
crazy.
the long straw, he drew it.
So yeah, he has changed quite a lot, but I think a lot of people have. I mean, Thorin has too.
On this character, you do need to be able to read a huge amount of information from his face. I think up to now, Thorin's had 5 faces.
Oh, okay.
We started off, he had quite a heavy forehead, and he had a much larger nose than he has now.
All right, I think the forehead's a little bit too big and
Lift it, bring it down, yeah.
Wasn't sexy. That was the issue. We were still testing while we were shooting, so we've had to go back and reshoot certain close-ups.
Very interesting.
We also decided that too long a beard on Richard was too
They
distracting.
didn't do all of this for the
Tolkien
hobbits.
described
They
Thorin
just
as
gave
having
him
a
ears
forked
and
beard that
feet,
he
right?
tucked into his belt. We have had to depart from that. I know this is controversial because the king of
they
the long
literally
beards, people feel he should have a long beard, but
sculpt
there was
their
something
faces.
I found to sort of ease my conscience a bit. It's in The Hobbit that
In the
when
perfect
the dwarves
way.
emerged from Erebor, they
So
had
everybody
singed beards.
had,
So the reason Thorin
multiple,
wears his beard
phases
short is
of
in
how their
reverence
face
to
looked.
those dwarves that had died in the mountain. You know, when he becomes king, he'll grow that beard back.
The beards?
Yeah.
They're all real. Well, they're all real.
Yeah, they're yak hair. Most of them are yak hair.
See, like, totally gave it away there.
Oh, sorry.
A lot of things were done to make these people who normal size,
Do you say
to
yak
make them
hair?
look like they're short, 4'6" people.
Yeah.
We used yak hair, which is coarse and thick, and we can very easily get a lot of volume to help us with the proportion.
For real?
This lot is about 1 kilo of hair. So we've used 100 lots of this to make wigs and beards.
And do you find you have a little itch going on here?
Oh, yeah, every day.
And the netting comes away a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jamie Lee puts up with the shit that I give her from the perspective, do I need the facial yet? Please leave the mow off just until we're ready to go. Because I hate facial hair on me. I'm just like... Thank you so much.
We'll do this after.
Yeah, okay.
The makeup I haven't found a problem at all. I like the makeup. Sticking on facial hair, though,
Oh.
it's never good. I did grow an enormous beard before I came here that I was very proud of. But then
They
they
made
told
you take
me
it off?
I had to shave it off. I was really, really pissed off. Really pissed off. And now, of course, Richard Armitage, Aidan Turner,
Yeah, they get to keep theirs.
They've all got their own beards.
We had a 10-week break, and I thought, well, here's a good opportunity to grow something real. There's so much of the head and the face that's doesn't belong to me. I thought it'd be good to mix it up.
I had a few months off before the shoot, and I went, I bet I can grow a wicked beard. And I could. And but I got over here, and Peter looked at me and went, no, I'm going to shave that. We want you with some stubble.
Oh, yeah, look at our beards. And I've got to stick one on. Anyway, it's fine.
They look so good. I didn't realize it was like
Is defined them by the weapon they
such a
carry and how
detailed
they
process
carry
to
it.
make this
I mean, the
happen.
axes of the dwarves, it's kind of a cliche that is their signature weapon,
But it
and
wasn't
indeed it is.
CGI.
But
They
if
did
you
it.
read The Lord of the Rings, while Gimli has axes, you go back and read The Hobbit, they talk about swords. So
Okay.
there was the opportunity there to design what does a dwarven sword look like. And then you couldn't just have all the characters carrying exactly the same weapon.
So with the
Right.
weapons, it kind of goes hand in hand with designing their silhouettes and their different appearances. We wanted to make singular statements about each of those characters.
Some have axes, some have hammers, some have boar spears, some have slingshots, as it turns out. Some have bows, some have swords, all different shapes. So the idea then became, let's develop something very distinctive for each individual dwarf.
The weapons particularly, we had a huge involvement in how they would come out.
If any of you have been thinking about ideas for potential weapons that you want to use and through the movie, now would be a good time to have an initial chat.
We were asked to come up with ideas, not just axes and swords, but what other weapons we thought that our characters might come up with, and those weapon choices were informed by our backstory of where we'd come from.
They kind of threw their ideas out to us to say, you know,
So
like,
everybody
well,
has a
maybe
different type of
my
weapon?
character could have this sort of weapon. At that point, it was a sort of a two-way street of throwing ideas around, so it was quite neat.
Balin wanted a weapon that was a cross between an axe and a sword. What you're talking about in terms of like a kind of a combination weapon, there's a weapon that kind of looks more like that.
Yeah. And so out came this rather weird-looking effect with a bit with tenderizing bits on it.
Ah, tenderizing.
You have no idea where it comes from. It's a weird weapon that is
weird.
really not of our world and that really belongs into this world. But it's still plausible as a weapon.
I have to be honest, I think it's one of the most standout bits of design in the whole film in terms of just a totally unique piece of weaponry.
So there's a lot of strange, weird and wonderful ways to kill people.
I just thought that Dwalin would have names for his axes.
Oh.
Because he's that kind of guy. You know. And I mentioned, as you do, in passing to Peter, that Grasper and Keeper would be good names for my axes. Just for me. Just as a character thing for me. And Peter was like, yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, we can have them inscribed on the blades of your axes. Okay. And practically the next day, there they were.
You actually use it.
Grasper. Keeper. That's one of the great things about this job is the attention to detail and the speed with which they're able to accomplish something. Nothing's just thrown together. It's just over and over and over again.
Right.
The amount of show and tells you have, showing your costume and makeup and weaponry and seeing what works and what doesn't.
If Graham is going to end up wearing large hands, rather than put Graham into fingerless gloves like that, which will hide a lot of the skin, why don't we think about turning it into weaponry like he's got knuckle dusters woven into his knuckles? Why don't we design something that's not a leather fingerless glove like that, but it's more like a chain metal thing, and it could have knuckle duster type points on it, so that it almost becomes a weapon component. But it does a little bit, but it could be bits of nail. It could be seeing skin in between. You know, it's like strings of mail.
Could it come back to a wrist strap?
Yeah.
Because that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That would be great to be able to, I don't need my axe because I've got this.
And before you know it, we actually have these whole leather strappings that go right down his forearms and onto his hands that carry these.
It's so good to see
asymmetrical, both
the process, where they start from and
just
start adding to it.
Knuckle dusters.
Knuckle dusters. Like, who comes up with that?
Can't wait to use that.
What in the
Do
world?
some serious orc damage with a pair of knuckle dusters. Insult, injury. That's how I view my hands, as one is called insult, one's called injury. I think everybody's got amazing weapons. I mean, even Ori, who essentially has a slingshot. But it's really deadly.
I said to Richard, well, I've got a slingshot at home. And I said, should we just show it to Peter? And so we popped it in a bag, sent it down to Peter, and it came back with a post-it note on it. Fantastic, this is great. Just make it dwarven sized.
Yeah.
It might look nothing in comparison to the big swords of Feely and Keely, but no, it's deadly.
Right.
The throwing axes for Feely, we played with a lot of different arrangements as to how they would work. We had them strung in a series like a bandolier across his chest, and they ultimately ended up being in his boots.
He's like a hedgehog. He's just like bristling with all these armaments. He's got his weapons at the ready, so to speak.
There's always a single prop that causes some trepidation, and everyone wants to have a go at it.
Right.
And ultimately, probably everyone did have a go, and of course that's Orchrist, the quintessential defining weapon of the Hobbit.
Right.
There's certainly some quite strong thoughts right from the start as to what we could pursue with this.
It's the mate of Glamdring, and that basically as much as we knew about it. So the first thing that myself and Paul did was start drawing swords that looked a lot like Glamdring. And then we also looked at trying to include some of the shapes that were in Sting, because that's also a sword that's come from the same vintage as Glamdring and Orchrist.
Peter was really adamant that he was wanting to see something different. Like a lot of our designs were falling into the category of, I've seen it with Glamdring, I've seen it with Sting.
Right.
Well, it's quite interesting, and we're saying it's elfin-made.
Yeah.
Why don't we do something different with the handle so it doesn't look like a warmed-up Sting?
So that's when I kind of went down the kind of slightly crazy road again, and, you know, biter is the sword. And so I thought, well, what about a tooth for the hilt? So I offered that up, and Peter went for it. I wouldn't like to say that it's a dragon's tooth because, you know, when we were researching the lore, certainly there's no indication that that's the case. But given that there's a dragon in the film, again, there's a nice theme running through there, so maybe it is.
So Orcus, of course, is the goblin cleaver, and it says that on the sword. But then also on the blade, it says the serpent's tooth, which is really cool because that's a reference to the fact that it has a dragon's tooth in the handle.
I didn't notice
And then
any of this
on
stuff.
the
I'm
scabbard,
telling you. Everything was moving
it
so
says,
fast.
born from the maws of dragons, and I am always hungry and thirsty. How cool is that? That's awesome.
And then, of course, that design has to be made, and that falls firmly on the shoulders of Peter Lyon, our swordsmith.
I tend to do the finishing on all the hero swords because basically I've been doing it for 25 years. So
Oh wait, are you the same
I've gotten
person
very
from
good
the
at knowing just by
the other
feel
appendices?
what's going on with the grinders.
Then you have a whole
That
handful of hair.
blade was
I think it's the same guy.
unbelievably challenging thing to make because you're hand grinding by eye a blade that has to have immensely accurate tolerances so that as light glances off it, it has no wave pattern through it. It has to look absolutely pure in its linear form while still capturing the subtlety of the design.
There was an idea that I came with at the very, very beginning, which I didn't really think would go anywhere, but it was something that Peter quite liked the idea of, which was that at the Battle of Moria Gates, where this branch of the tree saved his life, I thought that maybe he'd kept the branch.
Richard did a little illustration, conceptualized the idea that if this branch had had such a significance in his survival, surely he therefore would give it mythology, would heirloom it, would hew it into a usable weapon, a usable form of defense.
He's kind of created a gauntlet from it, which goes from the fist to the arm, and it's got two metal hooks on the back, and it's a kind of multi-purpose weapon, so it can punch and it can be a shield. So that's something that's evolved.
Look at
The
that.
knobbly fist, it had those splits that
What
looked
an
like
idea.
fingers. Yeah. Put that in and that in. Put the curve in.
Yep.
Mm.
Well, I think it's good. I mean, it looks more like a tree trunk.
It's almost like the personification of a dwarf that rather than getting old with age, they kind of harden with age and they become more fierce warriors with age.
I think you can do what you want, boys, because I've obviously killed him, so he's dead already.
No, he's not.
He's dead, and he's dead. I got him right between the eyes.
Yeah, we've got a ridiculous array of weapons.
Yeah, you
After
do.
a while, they can get very heavy. Very heavy with the fighting. They can get very heavy. Props, weapons, costumes, bags.
Dino has a spade. If anyone needs a spade, I've got it. He's got a spade.
Put all those things together, and you're looking at 25, 28 kgs in my case, if I've got absolutely everything going. And that's
a
quite a lot
lot.
of weight to be
Yeah.
carrying around for any length of time.
This is the patented oin cooling system.
Oh, look at that.
With your hands shoved down these tubes, you will never
The hands get
become
really hot?
overheated,
That's crazy.
either in the delivery of your performance or the rubbish you speak to the camera.
We were the most useless race. We cannot do anything. When the camera's off, I mean, the state of us, I mean, we're all just half-baked and dead by the side of the set, and with, fans in everyone's faces, and, makeup artists coming over. I'll get my sweat, my back. Just people cooling stuff on, and Peter raring to get going again with another take. It's hilarious.
Sweat literally pools in my arms. And what happens is
Ew,
that
in the arms,
combination of the
inside
tapping
the
pattern
thing?
and the sweat produces this really disgusting, milky
Gross.
consistency that
Oh,
starts
that's
to just
so
leak from your
gross.
fingers.
Darling milk.
Oh, that's so gross.
Fresh darling milk.
Oh, no.
There we go.
Is that
Ready
hot?
for the milk.
Just oh, you're getting
Oh, my God.
Thanks, Tom.
Oh, my God, that's so
They
gross.
don't like taking them off. because the poor person that has to take my arms
I'm
off,
trying to tell you, it's just...
they have to get a hold of the top and they yank it. And in the yanking, well, the milk just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Mainly on the face of the poor
Oh my God.
makeup girl who's
that
taking my
is
arms
just
off.
horrible.
Do I deliver or what?
It's so much sweat. That's horrible. Oh my God.
I don't normally spray it quite that much.
You do get extremely hot. So we have this cooling suit that racing car drivers wear.
Good. Yeah, something.
The cool vest has a hose. The hose plugs into a cool pack, which is then filled with ice
thank
and
goodness.
cold water.
Oh, that's
So within
genius.
about 10 seconds of plugging in,
Where do you get those?
this little puppy will start pumping
wow.
water all around their body, underneath all of their layers of fat suit and costume.
Oh.
So as soon as we finish a take, and they call cut, we plug into the little chili bin that's got the iced water in it.
And then we're like astronauts carrying around our little pumps that is pumping cold water.
Well, they're
around our
trying
bodies.
to
People will
to
shout,
help
"Can you
them
plug me
any
in?"
way they can.
And it's pumped through, and it is wonderful.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Can you feel that already?
It feels like I am pissing myself. It's great.
I think in the second day we're all complaining about something, about how hot it was, and we thought, you know, we just need a big place for us to hang out, a big tent with just stick in loads of air conditioning, put it in loads of it, and pump it in, and we can all wait in there. It was done the next day.
Here we are in the quarantine tent.
At the end of the night,
Oh,
you're looked after
good.
by an incredible crew. You know, they've had 18 months of sweaty, grumpy dwarves coming into them at the end of the night, and they have to take off all their layers.
I stink.
When we went into The Hobbit, we had this notion that this was going to be a somewhat smaller, easier film to make than The Lord of the Rings. And we came to realise very quickly that that is just absolutely not the
true
case.
at all.
Each dwarf has to travel with a crew of 5 dedicated people.
When you think about the number of people there are who have to
Each
dress
dwarf
us,
needs
who
5
have
people.
to find all our props,
I heard that.
and then we all have stunt doubles,
Yeah.
a scale double.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly, the number of people in the cast is treble.
Yeah.
There's sometimes a picture double. There's sometimes a stunt double for the scale double.
Yeah.
And it makes for an amazing array of different performers required to deliver a single role.
Okay.
Hi.
Wow.
One day, we made up all the dwarves and all their scale doubles. That was the day that we realised what we were doing. That was when you realised it was going to be absolutely mammoth, and it was going to be much larger than Lord of the Rings ever was.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
quite surreal.
that's true,
really
because
quite surreal, especially with the
you
when
need
the scales
multiple
were-
people per dwarf,
was
and
just
there are
like,
13
God.
main dwarves. Like,
Have we really done this? Look what we created.
what have we gotten ourselves into?
Are we all
Right.
What? Are there any women here?
Oh.
No. When we
So
all
funny.
put our gear on and we all stood together to look at the guys that were going on the quest, yeah, I got a real tingle up my spine.
That was actually quite genuinely moving.
Yeah.
Seeing all of you together and looking into each other's eyes.
All of these characters give you your own character as well. So when I met Balin and when I met Dwalin, it was it really feels like you're stepping into Middle Earth, and I don't feel like
Yeah.
myself at all.
It was just an amazing experience to see them realised in their true form. Watching the actors express through the makeup that you sculpted is just so rewarding. It's just a wonderful experience.
And all of it, you know, very worthwhile process to get it exactly right, so that their overall presence, their personality, their prosthetics, their hair, everything is sympathetic towards the character that they're playing.
And all the Tolkien fans, they can rest assured that there's a team here that have their heart and soul into creating something very, very special.
Right. Good job. Very, 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 very good. All right, you guys, that was the end. I'm not sure. I really did enjoy that video, but I'm not sure how much I'm going to include in the YouTube upload, just because I feel like I was just like sitting there, you know, I didn't really have much to add. I was just taking it all in, and the fact that they had so many different characters that they had to go into detail on, my reaction was just pretty much like, oh, what? Oh, you don't say. Oh, what? Oh, you don't, you know what I mean? There wasn't anything more than that. So we'll see what I, come up with, just to keep you guys entertained. Cause this is a whole hour long of me being like, oh, what? You don't say. You know what I mean? But I was like, just really, taken aback by the whole process. I loved it. From beginning to end, every single person learning about them, learning about how they created their weapons, their swords. One had a slingshot, one had the, of course, Thorn with his famous sword, and just starting from the beginning. I was not expecting it to be such a detailed process to come up with the actual faces for the dwarves. Just designing the prosthetics. They started with the sculptures, and they were literally sculpting each dwarf's face, and they did that multiple times just to come up with the prosthetic, which then also had to be altered. And then they moved on to their body. They had to have these big full body suits, which was very interesting, like this whole process of the bodysuit. Then you have the actual suit itself, the actual costume itself. And I was surprised that they had these like full prosthetics, and then they had, of course, the hair. I don't know if they mentioned just how long it took to put together their faces in the morning. I don't know if they said the hours, but because I remember from the Fellowship of the Ring, and they were talking about their feet, and it took like an hour and a half just to put their feet on. And so I wonder how long it took every single day for them to put this whole face on. Like, that's a lot of time spent just in hair and makeup every single day. It's very interesting. And then also what they had to do, because it wasn't just the facial prosthetics, it was also body, like that arm thing with the man who had to put on the arm prosthetics. That was just too much detail. Like, they went in way too much detail on that, because when they pulled it off, he was literally serious when he said that water was pulling into his arms, because when they pulled it off, you could see it just that was too much. I often say that they endured so much in order to bring us entertainment, and they really did. It was just interesting to me to see just how much a part of every single part in getting these movies to the screen Peter is involved in, because he was in there literally, like each Hobbit, or not Hobbit, each dwarf, he was a part of that process. Like, I want the nose bigger, I want the nose smaller, we add some more flesh here, and change the chin and make the arm, the fingers bigger, and like every little process. That is so interesting, that everything that you see on screen came from Peter's imagination. And even with the knuckle dusters, he was like, let's add some knuckle dusters. What? It's just very interesting. And to just see the beginning of the process to the end of the process, like what they start with is not what they finish with. You understand? It's like they're innovating every step of the way. And, it's interesting to see them brainstorming. I do appreciate them recording behind the scenes so we can see how it evolves. It started here, and then it ended with him with the 2 axes and the big arms, and got the knuckle dusters, and he got, you know what I mean? Just so interesting to see that process. And then also just how much time they devoted to doing the weaponry. It was like, we can't all just have the same type of weapon, the same type of sword. So everybody had their own. So good. It's so good. And all the dwarves did wind up looking different. And so, yeah, they did good. They did a great job. Like I said, I don't know how much of this I'm going to actually upload, just because I feel like it was just a lot of me just taking in the information, because it was so many different dwarves and they were going into detail about their particular prosthetic and their particular body design and their particular costume and weapon of choice. And I was having the same reaction over and over and over and over again, which is, oh, wow, you know. So we'll see. But thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, I love you. And let's flow.